idea to turn it into a place where we're going to be doing art programming. And I think Joan Oliva from the CIA would probably be a great person to come up and give some follow-up testimony to this.
Ms. Leva?
But she's sitting in the back row. I'm waiting for you to come up.
I know, I didn't see you
I'm going
coming.
to be asked.
Oh.
I didn't want to just barge on up.
You didn't get your engraved invitation, I'm sorry.
Well, good evening.
Good evening.
Joan Oliva, Director of the Lake Worth CRA. City Manager Mike Bornstein and I have had several conversations with several pretty well-known cultural groups throughout the county who are very, very interested in making a home here in Lake Worth. And we've looked at a number of buildings, but the one that honestly makes the most sense for us is the Shuffleboard Court. Not only because it's in the center of the downtown area on the west side, but also because it's right next to the artist lofts. The people that we moved into the artist lofts, and by the way, they are all sold, are very much interested in utilizing that building. And we all know that the best way to rehabilitate an area is to have eyes on the street and have activities in the place. So because the Shuffleboard Court has been sitting there for years and not really being used, we looked at it as an opportunity for us to come in with an interim program to fix up the place, make it useful, and have activities day and night. So we have proposed to come in and lease that building for about a year. We have an RFP ready to go out to a number of different cultural organizations. It'll be an open RFP, obviously. And also, I just got word today that the cultural facility grant that we applied for, I don't even remember how many months ago, has made the cut and is going to the Florida legislature for approval. So
That's
should
for
be getting some money.
35,000.
It's for 150.
150. What was it, 35?
That's just our piece.
Oh, that's part of it.
Okay.
So I'm asking for the commission to agree to lease the building to us for at least a year to see what we can do with it.
Okay. Commissioner comments? Vice Mayor?
Who's paying the utilities?
You are, you're paying them now.
That's all I have.
Commissioner Musso?
No, just along that lines. Again, we're paying for that building. There's not a lot going on. We have computers sitting there, not being utilized. After traveling to the schools and talking to the schools, all the schools in the area are looking for after-school programs, art classes, and the computers can be utilized to teach children photography and art. And like Joan said, there are people that are already looking at coming in and doing some programs, doing some things. So this is just the next step in moving forward with some activities and things that are going on.
Now, the $150,000, that was the grant in reference to raising the ceiling on the inside and creating an artist-like environment for artists to come in and show and do work and
Correct.
things of that
We
nature.
have the interior of the building as well as the exterior, and we have a number of companies who are coming in and doing in-kind work as well as that 150. So it's actually a $300,000 grant.
A $300,000 grant. Okay, Vice Mayor?
Who's taking care of the maintenance?
Pardon me?
Who's paying for the maintenance?
Maintenance of the building, the inside? The
Outside?
Well, the outside, we're not touching the outside of the building without permission. We're not taking care of the shuffleboard courts or not using the shuffleboard courts. It would only be for the interior of the building,
And other than utilities, is there anything else we have to pay for?
not that I'm aware of.
Mr. Bornstein?
Not with the building.
That's all I have.
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. All right, public comment, please. Ms. Sharp, followed by Joyce Brown.
Loretta Sharp, 1311 South Conway. They're asking for a one-year lease. They're going to put $300,000 in the building. They're not going to pay the utilities, and they're not going to take the shuffleboard courts away. You can't take care of anything that we own. You haven't got a good business plan for the city. You don't have a good business plan for the casino. It's in an art district. We let them build art lofts there. We encourage them to build art lofts there. I think it's the most appropriate use of that building. And I certainly would urge all of the commission to vote yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Joyce Brown, followed by Chip Guthrie.
How do you spell that? O-T?
Ms. Brown, 15 South J Street, Clay Glass Middlestone Gallery. I came here to speak on behalf of this project with the CRA, and I'm also representing Joanne Burkhoff from the Ben Zeiton Project. She emailed me today to ask me to speak on her behalf as well. We think this is an absolutely appropriate use of this building. We think it's an exciting extension to all of the arts programming that's going on in the town. And we think that the CRA, above all else, can do this and do it well. And that's my statement. Celia.
Thank you.
Thank you. Chip Guthrie, followed by Barbara Jean Weber.
Chip Guthrie, I'm a member of the CRA. I too would like to speak in favor of and encourage you to consider that, look at bigger picture things. Joyce mentioned the Ben Zeiton Center, that is a possibility. We've got, we're actually, you guys are doing a great job of moving west of Dixie, west of the tracks. The Arts Lofts is already kind of taking over a little center there as we start building and maintaining some better programs over there. If there is somebody that can do it, she's sitting right there. And I was wondering why only a year, but you know, the idea was the CRA is not taking it over. The CRA was get something going in there that is going to take off on its own and be something that you all are going to be very much behind. I really just want you to kind of consider what's going on in that whole sector of the town. This is in your district as well, which needs it so sorely. So you're going to have, you got McMahon, you're going to have artwork in the lofts and in the shuffleboard, and you have Ben Zeiton. We're talking about creating a whole arts feeling of that entire area. So definitely good idea, excellent idea. Thank you.
Thank you. Barbara Jean Weber.
Good evening. In reading the backup, I had a few questions. Are they going to be charging rent for the people who come in there? And in the beginning of the backup material, it stated for the benefit of residents and of course citizens to visit, to add to the culture in the community. But do other residents, other than those within the loft, say there was some group of artists who wanted to come in and have a display, what have you, are they able to do it? And if they are, who should they contact? So I'd like the question answered is if they are going to be charging rent for someone to have something in there, and if they are, I too have a little bit of an area of discontent about paying the utilities, the sewer, and everything for it. I think some consideration should be made of how much this is going to cost. If we're lucky enough that it is occupied and it's cost prohibitive, then it might be something you want to reconsider. I'd also like to have answered what happens to the recreation department. Does it still stay there? And thank you.
Thank you. City Manager, could you answer those questions for Ms. Weber, please? Or
May I start?
Commissioner Amoroso?
As far as recreation still will occupy the space. They will still have events, they will still rent out, and that any of those rented out spaces that the recreation does, they do charge for that space, and they will continue to bring that money into the rec department. CRA and the rec department will do a master schedule where there's no conflicting time spans, and again, they will still house that department in conjunction with CRA. CRA is not moving their offices into that space. It's mainly going to be an add-on, so to speak, to the rec department and in programs that they're doing, and then CRA will bring the other arts programs to the table also to work with them.
I'm sorry, Commissioner, you have to stop talking now, your bell is ringing. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Did I cover everything?
I think so. I think you covered everything.
Yeah, so there are services and events and things that go on there now and will continue to go on that aren't charged for. The recreation does charge for certain things in that building to pay the overhead, which, you know, we will still be continuing to pay utilities and water, and the rec does charge for certain events that are there that offsets those costs.
So staff will still be occupying that space, therefore, in regards to the utilities, I understand what you're saying, but we will still be inhabiting that building putting on our own functions, services, and charging for events in that building. If you remember when we had that meeting just a while back when we were talking about the grant for it, that was one of the agreements that we have shared custody, so to speak, of this building. But really the programming aspects of this and the classes and teaching. And then the other question that I believe Ms. Weber had was in reference to the citizens being involved in painting. I know that I think the Art League was looking at doing something there. This will be not just for everybody, all of our residents and citizens from in the community and outside the community will be able to participate. Is that not correct?
Right, if you read the RFP, it actually says that they have to make special accommodations for community events or any kind of city event, so they take precedence.
Okay.
I didn't see that in the back.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Okay,
Okay, good.
thank you.
Thank you. Most of you already know that, not only being a lover of the arts, but I've been very much focused on, since I got here, really changing the downtown core from being not just east of Dixie Highway, but being from that traffic circle to the Intercoastal and of course to our beach. Our downtown starts at that traffic circle. I don't know how many times I've said it over and over again, but when you think about it, how last year, if you remember correctly, we had the holiday lights up west of Dixie Highway. That was a first ever for this city. Now we have the artist lofts are completed after that holiday and they're sold and everyone's in there. Ben Zeiden, we'll be discussing that in the future, and all the great arts programs that are happening and going through this community. The arts are a great way to revitalize cities. I mentioned my trip to Chattanooga and a lot of our discussions that we've had relying on some of the information from that trip, that where we went there and saw it firsthand how it was used to do it, and it does have very deep economic impacts on developments of communities. The great thing about it is that these artists are coming in and I'm already seeing them going to the shops and stores, and it's really, we're gonna have a festival coming up here. I believe the Net Group is putting on a festival. Is it next weekend, this weekend? November 2nd. That'll be at the Shuffleboard Courts. There'll be an event there too. Really starting to extend that downtown. The arts are a great way to do it, and I've said before, nobody does it better than us in Lake Worth. It came organically, it grows organically from our city. It's not manufactured and inhabited, and I'm glad to hear that so many great organizations are looking forward to being a part of our community. They recognize us from outside of this area and recognize us as a growing arts community. And for us to be able to do that. One conversation I had with a group of artists was when we talk about economic impact. I know, Vice Mayor, you always like discussing that, especially in relevance to the arts. There are so many artists down in the Miami area. Of course, the Miami region is famous for its art and its artists. And there are sections in Miami right now that have become so affluent that major automobile manufacturers like Bentley and Rolls-Royce have come in and bought up city blocks of retail space to put in showrooms down in that area that was once created by artists, just like we have here, in our community that grew up in that Miami arena. And now they can't even afford to work in there and find their own spaces in some of those areas of Miami because it's just become, Miami is blown up. We all know it, it's just blown up to be that kind of thing. How horrible would it be for those people to relocate to our city where we have all these great resources and amenities and a beautiful place to create here close to the water and the beach? I think it's a win-win for everybody involved, and this, the projects that are kind of coming up, I would love to see 300 new artists come up from South Florida and come up and relocate here in our city and take over our cottages and move into those new apartment buildings and become a vital part of our community. How wonderful for our city would that be? So, it happened in Miami, sir. It could most certainly happen here. And in the meantime, it certainly would put many of our great artists to work.
Well, I'm hearing you, Madam Mayor, but there are some folks in this town that don't want us to be like Delray. I certainly don't want us to be like Miami.
Right.
So, let's temper our enthusiasm.
We're not gonna be like anybody else. We are Lake Worth, and we are like no one else, baby. And we never will be. But it's okay if we have some great things happening, and I'm really excited about it. So, all right, we've got a motion on the floor in a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much.